Newcastle Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
I think we're coming from a place where we, to a degree, we have a target on our back now with a lot of the other teams in the division. I think we're more well known in terms of our strengths. So I think we have to be better in every area. The expectations have risen around us, so we have lots of new challenges to face and deal with. But I'm confident enough to think that we can navigate our way through that. I believe in the squad we have, the players we have. I believe in our style of play, and I'm confident that we can deliver a successful season.
What promises to be another big campaign is just around the corner. Final preparations for Eddie Howe and his players this weekend in a St James's Park double header. Fiorentina followed by Villarreal in the inaugural Sella Cup quality continental opposition, and there'll be more of that in the months ahead for Newcastle United. A very good afternoon to you from a damp St James's, from Matthew Raisbeck and from John Anderson. Already today we have seen a game involving Nice of France and Villarreal in the opening match in this pre-season festival of football, as the club are calling it. That one finished 1 apiece, and in half an hour's time Newcastle United will take to the field to play Fiorentina from Italy, the runners-up in last season's Europa Conference League when they were beaten in the final by West Ham United. The tickets for the Sella Cup enable supporters to take in all of the matches on each day, and the lower bowl of St James's Park is open. Level 7 is pretty much closed apart from one block where the away fans go next to the giant screen, but probably a crowd of north of 30,000 will be here to watch Newcastle play in this one today, and then they'll be back for more tomorrow against Villarreal. And with having matches on consecutive days, Eddie Howe, a bit like he did last summer when Newcastle had a couple of domestic friendlies on the eve of the Premier League season, he has split his squad, and the players who are starting and featuring today unlikely to be involved tomorrow. Similarly, those who miss out this afternoon, except for those who are injured, we should see tomorrow. So this is how they look for the game against Fiorentina, and then we'll get Ando's thoughts on the lineup and just exactly where things are at in this pre-season. It's Martin Dubravka in goal, then a back four of Kieran Trippier, who'll captain the side, Alex Murphy, the teenager who joined the club from Galway United in Ireland last year, but is one of a few youngsters who's made a good impression this summer. He'll play alongside Sven Botman in the heart of the Newcastle defence, with Matt Targett at left back. Then in midfield, a first St James's Park appearance for Sandro Tonali, wearing number 8 on his back, and alongside him in midfield, the two Geordies who've come through the academy and have arguably been Newcastle's brightest players over the summer. Elliot Anderson, who's got 4 goals in the pre-season schedule, and 17-year-old Lewis Miley, who is generating and creating a lot of buzz and excitement for how well he has done over the last few weeks. The front three is another player who's done very well over the summer. Anthony Gordon, Miguel Almiron and Alexander Isak will lead the line. Newcastle's bench is mostly academy players, but Mark Gillespie is one of the goalkeepers on there, along with the other Jude Smith, then Lucas De Ball, Nathan Carlyon, Remy Savage, Jamie Miley, Amadou Diallo, Jay Turner-Cook, who scored the winner at Gateshead in Newcastle's first pre-season friendly, Jordan Hackett, Michael Ndaiwani, James Huntley, Ben Parkinson, a striker who featured a couple of times as a sub in the United States in the Premier League Summer Series, and young Scottish defender Charlie MacArthur. That's how Newcastle United look. Ando, good afternoon. Good to see you.
Razor, how are you?
It's nice to be back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Just wish the weather was a bit better.
Yeah, it's not raining at the moment, but it's been quite heavy. I think some non-league matches have been postponed today because of the conditions, so it hasn't been great across the northeast, but in this part of our area, St James's Park, at the moment is okay. The team, strong team and youthful bench, so how do you think he's looking at it then? Because the 11 that will play today will obviously be different to the 11 that will play tomorrow, but probably some from this team and some from the squad for tomorrow's match will then be put together for the side against Aston Villa. So it's not as if the 11 we've got in front of us now is likely to start the Premier League season.
No. It's really interesting, actually. You know, you look at this starting 11. He's obviously mixing and matching 2 games over the 2 days. Obviously, Premier League season's only a week away as well. Wants to protect people, don't want people getting injured, don't want people picking injuries up a week before the season starts. I mean, you look at that side, you know, and hand on heart, how many of them do you think will start next week? It's a real difficult one, you know. I suppose you look at it and you think there's 2 definites there, you know, in Trippier and Botman. And then you would say maybe Tonoli, maybe Gordon,
Almiron,
maybe Isak, because it's a toss between him and Wilson, you know. So it's maybe Almiron as well. Yeah. So look at it. It's an interesting side, a big opportunity for the young boys as well. I mean, obviously, Elliot Anderson's had an outstanding pre-season up to now with the 4 goals. Young Lewis Miley's been outstanding in the games that we've seen, and Murphy has come in and he hasn't looked flustered by it. He's settled in quite well. So yeah, it's an interesting side, but hand on heart, you wonder how many of them are will actually be in the starting 11 against Villa next weekend.
Eddie Howe did say yesterday at his pre-match press conference that there are still places up for grabs. That will always be his message. Not that any supporters would not believe him, because with players doing so well in pre-season, they are definitely playing their way into contention. Anderson being one who is looking really sharp. He's scoring goals. He's had slightly different roles in the team in pre-season, but we know that his versatility means he can play on the wing, he can play in the centre, he can play off a striker, he can give them so many different things. And Lewis Miley has been probably, I would say, the real discovery in a first team environment in that sense, because he only turned 17 a couple of months ago. He's been around the senior squad since last year and played in a couple of friendlies last season. Got on at Chelsea, didn't look out of place on the final day of the last campaign, but has just really exploded onto the scene over the summer. And I don't think Eddie Howe would be fearful of putting him in, but this will be a big test and a different test in a St James's Park environment for him.
Yeah, you just hope that this is a better game than the first game, and there's a bit more pace about it.
Were you not impressed?
The first game was a little bit underwhelming, to say the least. There wasn't a great deal of pace to it. It was probably paid at walking pace, if I'm perfectly honest. It wasn't great. You just hope this one's a little bit better. But yeah, look, young Miley, he's 6'2", 17 years of age, technically really good. Doesn't look phased by anything, doesn't look overawed by anything. As you say, came on at Chelsea in the last game of last season, was unlucky not to score as well when he hit the crossbar. Young Anderson as well, all of a sudden you've got young boys who are breaking through, breaking onto the first team scene. Young Murphy as well, as I said earlier, hasn't looked overawed by anything. Big opportunity for him today as well. The first game for him at St James's in front of a decent crowd. So yeah, future looks good going forward with with young boys coming through. Whether they start next week against Villa, whether one of them, the two of them, whatever starts next week, we will have to wait and see. But big opportunity for them today to show this crowd in here what they're all about.
And we're going to see Sandro Tonali in black and white at St James's Park. Huge excitement over his arrival, and we got a glimpse of him at Rangers a couple of weeks ago in the first half, where he looked classy and elegant on the ball. He was playing in the United States. I think had a bit of a tough game against Aston Villa, particularly in that first half when Newcastle were a bit exposed. But what little we saw at Rangers, certainly with him on the ball, suggests there are very good things to come. And considering how important a signing Newcastle see it being, then it's quite right to expect big things from a player who comes with a pretty impressive track record, even at the age of 23.
Well, he's an Italian international. I thought he did really well at Rangers, but then when you look back, it was really hard to analyse because of the pace that game was played at. Got plenty of time on it, nobody really got in his face, nobody put him under real pressure, but his movement was good, his use of the ball was good. As you say, against Villa in the States, against the Premier League side whose midfield got close to him, put him under pressure, harassed him. He struggled a little bit, so yeah, we'll wait and see. Does he start next week? A lot of people are saying yes, he starts next week, but we shall have to wait and see on that one. I think Eddie Howe in his own mind will probably have his 11 already sorted out for next week against Villa. I know he says that these two games gives people the opportunity to show what they're about, but I honestly think that his 11, his starting 11, he's already got them sorted. He knows what they will be. But we'll see whether Tonali starts or not. I think that's what I'm not convinced he will. I'm not convinced he will start, but we'll wait and see.
This is BBC Radio Newcastle. Great to be with you live from St James's Park once again, with commentary coming up on the match against Fiorentina in the Sella Cup. And once again, we'll be bringing you coverage of every Newcastle United match across the season. And our Total Sport phone-in show is back after a summer break, Monday to Friday, 6 until 8. We take your calls on Newcastle and Sunderland, and we give you the latest news from St James's and the Stadium of Light. And you can listen live or listen back to any Total Sport programme on BBC Radio Newcastle through the BBC Sounds app. So the Sella Cup then. Firstly, if you're wondering who or what Sella is or are, they are Newcastle's new front of shirt sponsor. That deal, which Newcastle say is multi-year, though they didn't put a number on it, was announced earlier in the summer. They are a company from Saudi Arabia and are described as a sporting event, hospitality and real estate company. So Sella are the sponsors of this tournament, which features Newcastle, Fiorentina, and then earlier it was Nice against Villarreal. That finished 1-1. The tournament format is 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, with an additional point for each goal scored. So attacking play can bring you rewards and benefits when it comes to potentially lifting the trophy tomorrow. But not only are there the matches between the aforementioned clubs, at 6 o'clock Newcastle United's women will be playing in a game against West Brom. That's a pre-season friendly for them, and they'll take to the field the women's team for the 4th time at St James's Park, and they are hoping that a good number of those who've come to watch the men will stay on and give them some support when they go up against West Brom later. Digital ticketing is in operation at St James's Park today as well for the first time. A link to download a ticket is sent to your smartphone, and then you have to scan it to get into the stadium. We know there have been some issues with ticketing, particularly with memberships and the ballots for some games. If you go to the BBC Sounds app and look for BBC Radio Newcastle, some of our interviews on those subjects and those issues are still available to listen again to. Links are also on our Twitter page at BBC Newcastle. But there has been an issue at St James's Park today regarding the kiosks, and only cash payments are accepted because of problems taking card payments. So if you are going to be a late arrival, or you know someone that is here, it's cash payments only at St James's Park today. So one or two,
get yourself to the cash point
issues. There'll be an almighty queue outside that one and the corner next to the Sir Bobby Robson statue. But they are back at St James's Park, and it's the first time that the digital ticketing is in use. And on Total Sport through the week on BBC Radio Newcastle, we'd love to hear your experiences of that. It's been a story we've covered over the last 7 days or so. So do get in touch with us, let us know how it has worked today. We'll have a look at Fiorentina, Newcastle's opponents, in a few minutes' time, as the players in Newcastle's side make their way back into the changing room, wearing an all-black warm-up and training kit ahead of changing into the black and white stripes. We kick off at 3:30, and a reminder, it's Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Alex Murphy, Botman and Target at the back, Tonali, Lewis Miley and Anderson in midfield, Almiron, Gordon and Isak the front three. Some thoughts from Eddie Howe coming up shortly, but Fiorentina, who provide the opposition for Newcastle United, I mentioned, Ando, that they were the beaten finalists, losing to West Ham in the UEFA Europa Conference League last season. They also lost the Coppa Italia final to Inter Milan, so they had cup final disappointment, a bit like Newcastle last season, but one of the better teams from Serie A. A couple of names I think that supporters will know in there, but one in particular, Arthur Melo, who's in midfield on loan from Juventus, was at Liverpool last year, made only one appearance because of injury. But do you think more generally with Fiorentina, and I suppose Villarreal tomorrow, that Eddie Howe feels that this is good preparation for the European games that Newcastle will potentially have, even though they don't know the identity of their other Champions League opponents?
I don't know whether that'll be on his mind, Razor. I think the Premier League is first and foremost in his thoughts. I think that the games that they played in the States against the Premier League sides that they faced out there will have stood them in good stead for next week. Obviously Villa was one of those sides that they played, and they looked decent, but it's always nice to play against a different style of football, which we'll see today from Fiorentina, and obviously tomorrow with Villarreal. You would imagine that Villarreal will probably be the stronger of the two. But yeah, you set your stall out against different styles. You've got to play against different formations and the way that they play. Look, you would imagine technically they'll be good. They will keep the ball. Obviously, no mugs, got to 2 cup finals, one of them being the European final. So they know what it's about. It's just how they go about it, you know. It's just, I'm not too sure when the Italian league starts. I don't know how far advanced they are in their pre-season.
It's a week later.
So they're possibly a week behind, but even so, you know, it's how they approach it. You know, it's how they go about it. The one thing that Eddie Howe will want, of course, is mentioned this earlier on as well. You won't want people picking up silly injuries and one thing and another. So yeah, it's we've seen them last season, seen the games last season. They were decent, but you would say that they weren't played at full pace, and you don't expect this one to be played at full pelt either.
Fiorentina will be lining up with a 4-3-3, similar to what we expect from Newcastle. Michele Cerofolini is the goalkeeper. Brazilian right back Dodo, with Nikola Milenkovic and Pietro Camuzzo as the two centre halves, and the captain Cristiano Biraghi, an Italian international, at left back. The three in midfield, the aforementioned Arthur Melo, the Brazilian, in the centre, with Giacomo Bonaventura, who scored their goal in the Conference League final, playing, we think, to the right, and Ghanaian international Alfred Duncan, the other central midfielder, and then Croatian international Josip Brekalo, Nicolas Gonzalez, who plays international football for Argentina, and Arthur Cabral, a Brazilian, who was their top scorer with 17 goals last season, leading the line. The Fiorentina bench includes the French international forward Jonathan Ikone, who played with Sven Botman at Lille, a Russian international striker in Alexander Kokorin, and Abdelhamid Sabiri, the midfielder who was part of the Morocco side that went far to all the way almost in the World Cup, got to the semi-finals. BBC Radio Newcastle, the Cellar Cup at St James's Park, as Newcastle continue to build up to the kick-off in the Premier League. They faced three other Premier League sides in the United States in the Summer Series competition a couple of weeks ago, and now they round off their preparations for the new campaign by facing two strong teams from Europe.
We were expecting tough opposition. Fiorentina got to the final of the Europa League, performed really well last season. They were well placed as well in the Serie A, so we know good teams, and I think that's what we wanted in both games. We wanted tough examinations. If you look at our pre-season fixtures, they're probably as hard as you can get, with the purpose of preparing ourselves for the tough start that we have. So looking forward to both games, and I know there'll be slightly different styles, but I think that the general theme of play will be quite similar. We were more than happy to go to America and be part of the Summer Series. We enjoyed our experience. Again, to see the support Newcastle had out in America, from whether that's Newcastle people travelling or Americans adopting us as their club, it was great to experience and see. Certainly a lot of passion for football there now, and I think that's growing, and it's great to help that growth. But it's also important we're here for our own supporters and people that can't travel as far. So I think this should be a really good 2 days. It's been a long time since we've played at St James's Park. That's what it feels. So yeah, great to be back.
Total Sport Northeast.
The sound of
Newcastle United.
Fabian Schär's had a go! Oh, wow! What an unbelievable strike from Fabian Schär! Into the area, Callum Wilson on his left. Alexander Isak! Oh, what a goal! What a hit from Isak! Newcastle United are back among the elite of European football.
Great sport kicks off here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Newcastle United and Fiorentina just made their way onto the pitch. Black and white stripes, black shorts and white socks for the Magpies. Dubravka wearing a luminous yellow goalkeeping kit. Fiorentina in their home colours, which are purple with a bit of white trim, and goalkeeper Cerofolini in, I think I would call that peach. It's probably right, isn't it? It's like a faded orange goalkeeping outfit. Referee is going to be someone that we don't see take charge of Newcastle matches for an obvious reason, because he is a supporter of the club, but Northumberland official Michael Oliver is the man in the middle at St James's Park today, with Gary Bezic and Scott Ledger, the assistants, and Anthony Taylor, the fourth official pitch side. Well, it's so good to be back. We've missed it. It's only been a couple of months, but so much in store that promises to excite and thrill and deliver once again. After a great season last year, the new one is almost upon us, and Newcastle United, with a week to go, continue to get ready with 2 games in the Cellar Cup here at St James's Park. The first against Fiorentina is underway here on BBC Radio Newcastle. They are kicking towards the Leazes end, so as we look at the action, that is from right to left. Fiorentina have got the match started and played it back to the goalkeeper. And a reminder, Newcastle, Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Alex Murphy, Botman, Targett, Tonali, Lewis Miley, Anderson, Almiron, Gordon and Isak. And here is Isak just outside the area, across to Matt Targett, who's played the most minutes in pre-season of any Newcastle player. Targett. Lewis Miley, who's out there, is the only member of the Newcastle squad who's played it now in all 6 of the games they've had. Good link-up play on the far side near halfway, involving Tonali and Almiron, and then he bends it with the outside of his right boot, the Italian, to Targett on halfway on the near side. And we've played a minute as Botman pings it and switches it, and collected by Almiron. Went for the return from Trippier, and he was poleaxed by a defender. He's rubbing his face as he is helped up. Miguel Almiron. Free kick has been given. It's out on the far right touchline in the final third.
Yeah, just got obstructed, didn't he?
Botman and Murphy have gone forwards. They are in the D, and the Fiorentina defence are on the 18-yard line. It's sent in flat towards the near post by Trippier and dealt with by Fiorentina. Then Trippier makes a challenge, which sends the ball forwards. The Italian side get away down the left and win a free kick in the middle of their half, which they've taken quickly. They've got it started immediately. And Nikola Milenkovic starts to bring it forwards from the back, the Serbia international. It's with goalkeeper Cerefalini. Fiorentina still in possession on the edge of their penalty area. Arthur Melo. Now moving into the middle third of the pitch on the far left side. Ball still on the floor and with Fiorentina. Got the lights on at St James's Park. Still dry but overcast. Alex Murphy tried to win it on halfway, and Fiorentina got through with Arthur Cabral at centre forward, wearing number 9, but Sandro Tonali mopped up and played it back to Dubravka.
Yeah, just showed a little bit of inexperience, didn't he? Murphy just got rolled by the big centre forward. Fortunately, poor ball from him.
Forwards from Dubravka. Almiron on to Isak, takes it inside, gives it to Lewis Miley, got knocked to the floor after he'd released the ball. Tonali moves it on over to the left. Target down the line to Anthony Gordon, now wearing number 10, Alan Saint-Maximin's old number. Isak to Anderson, left side, into the middle to Tonali, first time back to Miley, good ball around the corner and away from players in purple to Trippier. Almiron down the line for Trippier, cross hits a defender, comes into the penalty area, and then it's won back by Almiron, who heads to the corner at the Leazes end, inside. Newcastle still with it. Tonali digs out a cross looking for Isak, away once and then brought back into the area by Fiorentina. Then a bigger clearance into midfield.
Great ball.
Target watching it, and
what a ball that was.
Committed a foul in front of the assistant referee on the near side on Nicolas Gonzalez, the Argentinian forward. But Arthur Melo,
I mean, he had took a bit of a risk, shorts, from inside his own 6-yard box. He's just pinged it 40 yards.
Pinpoint pass out to the right wing. Newcastle in possession again. Fiorentina went backwards with the free kick. Newcastle have it on the right side of midfield. Almiron, Tonali both involved. Almiron lost it, then won it back. Forward to Isak, who carries it back into the Magpies' half. Botman to Anderson in the half space on the half turn. Works it out to Gordon on the left. Cuts inside, back to Anderson. Chance to shoot. Didn't really get it under control, and it got away from him off his right boot and into the supporters behind Cerofolini's goal.
Great early ball from Botman into the hole. Gordon picked it up, little square ball. He's always leaning back, Anderson. Just as you say, didn't have it under control. Always rising over the top.
No goals.
Play again though.
6 minutes, 0-0, and Arthur Cabral heading on. Trippier back to Dubravka. Forwards to Lewis Miley, who takes it comfortably. And out to the feet of target. Gordon back to Botman. He's playing as the left-sided centre-half. Alex Murphy, when we've seen him, appears to be left-footed as well, but he's to the right of Botman. Isak, not for the first time this afternoon, dropping into a deep position to collect. Then he's given it out wide and got a great return ball. Isak into the area, lining up the shot. Pushed away by the goalkeeper at the near post. Kept alive by Almiron on the right wing. It's good play involving Isak. And they're still on the move. Almiron and Tonali. Handball, is it? Assistant referee says chest of the defender cut out the Newcastle pass. Fiorentina clear. Newcastle have it at the back with Botman. That was good play. Isak got it, gave it, made the run, and they found him with the return ball.
Yeah, good hit. I mean, keeper would have been disappointed if he was beaten at that angle. Just punched it away, but good play again. Movement again. He keeps dropping into that hole, Isak, and nobody's coming with him. Neither the centre-back's coming with him. So he's got freedom there.
Under the watchful eye of Eddie Howe, pitch side Lewis Miley involved in the play for Newcastle. Fiorentina win the ball back, then Newcastle have it. Then Trippier makes a couple of challenges on the far side to stop a quick break down the Fiorentina left, and it's with Arthur Melo in midfield. Here on BBC Radio Newcastle, it's 0-0. This is Dodo, the 5'5" Brazilian fullback. He's 5'5". Arthur Melo, another Brazilian, 5'7". The Fiorentina team. Based in the city of Florence, Tuscany, in central Italy. Still got the ball at the back, and it's with Pietro Camuzzo. Goes square to Nikola Milenkovic. His ball out to the right to Dodo. Inside, infield away from Gordon. Just behind halfway. Eddie Howe, hands behind his back. All in black today. Jason Tindall not far from him, though there is that rule in the Premier League, isn't there, that you can only have one person in the technical area next season. But mustn't apply to pre-season friendlies, though Tindall is hanging back a little bit. From Howe as Tonali picks out a good pass to Anderson on the left side on halfway. He looked for Isak infield. Ball was too far away from Isak, and then Fiorentina tried to break down the left. Newcastle cut out the cross. Lewis Miley plays it to Elliot Anderson. He's found Isak. Carries it out wide, back to Anderson, just behind halfway, 0-0. Almiron in a central position, receives it, plays it back to Anderson, who gives it to Almiron again, down the line to Isak, back heel for Almiron, but it went out from Isak's ball.
Yeah, good play again, unlucky. Was the right idea, just got too much on the back heel, didn't he?
Long ball forwards that's bouncing, and Botman has to head out. Throw for the visitors. About 20 yards from goal on this near right side. They go back into their half of the field with Nikola Milenkovic, and then all the way to the goalkeeper. When the rain was coming down earlier, Ando, I was thinking back to what happened the last time Fiorentina came here. It was 2011, and the match was abandoned. It was 0-0 pre-season game. I know you were here for that one. It was heavy rain that fell continuously, and they couldn't carry on.
No.
I was worried it was going to happen again.
Yeah, I mean it was torrential that day. Didn't take any chances.
It's back in the Alan Pardew days at Newcastle, ahead of their 5th placed finish that season. That one was abandoned. It's a bit of a breeze, but it's dry, which is good. And Newcastle try to break down the left. Fiorentina get it back to the goalkeeper, who plays it out to Dodo.
Touch was poor, wasn't it?
Unable to control, and it's a Newcastle throw. Botman back to Dubravka, who's a couple of yards outside the penalty area, into Tonali, swings it around to Trippier. Takes it under control, looked for Isak, cleared, picked up now by Tonali, who's going to drive and carry them forwards. Support out to the right from Almiron on the touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. Trippier could go short to Tonali, and does, and first time return ball to Trippier, then down the line to Tonali again. Trippier turns and comes inside. Alex Murphy floats it across to Matt Targett. It's come off his shoulder and stayed in. Fiorentina appealed for handball. Referee Michael Oliver said no. Anthony Gordon finding space and hitting one right-footed along the floor, just past the goalkeeper's right-hand post.
Yeah, you got to play to the whistle. Gonzalez just stopped, wanting the handball, remonstrating with the linesman on this near side, but was never getting it. Gordon picks it up, drives at that centre of that Fiorentina back four, gets a shot away, drags it a little bit.
Arthur Cabral beaten to the ball by Alex Murphy, and a free kick goes. High boot from the visiting number 9. Murphy was sharp again and won it that time. Tonali has found a ball out to Trippier. Another angled pass for Isak, who's tried to slip it through for Almiron in between defenders, but was well covered by Comuzzo. Duncan then tripped by Lewis Miley just at the front of the defensive third, and Fiorentina will restart the match with a free kick. Dodo's that bleached hairstyle, wearing number 2 on his purple shirt, plays it infield now. Arthur Melo trying to ping it through and away from target, and he's got
a score.
Gonzalez in. but he couldn't keep the shot down. Left-footed on the right side of Newcastle's penalty box, with a great ball played through inside of target, who wasn't getting there, and it's over the top from Nicolas Gonzalez when it might have been 1-0 Fiorentina.
Yeah, great angle ball, wasn't it? Just took target right out of the game, and you fancied him as well on his left foot. He put it over the top.
Nicolas Gonzalez on it again, 5 yards outside the area. Giacomo Bonaventura, wearing number 10, plays it back. Dodo's pulled well out wide, and Biraghi on the other side. They're stretching the play. Dodo into Arthur Melo, and over to the left-sided centre half, Pietro Camuzzo. Newcastle force the pass back to the goalkeeper. No goals, quarter of an hour exactly on the St James's Park clock. A couple of efforts, one from Gordon, one from Anderson, both off target. Trippier with a header back from the goalkeeper's long ball forwards to the feet of Dubravka. Botman to Tonali, takes it under pressure. Anderson around Arthur Melo. Looks so sharp. Elliot Anderson and Isak likewise to Trippier down the lines. Quick play from Newcastle. Almiron cuts inside and is brought down. They let them play on. Anderson in the penalty area, turns back to Trippier. Almiron still down after being caught. And it's gone out. It's a Newcastle throw. It was right in front of the assistant referee on the far side, Gary Bezic. They let the play go because Newcastle had the advantage, but he was swiped down and chopped to the floor, Almiron, by...
He's just cut inside on him, hasn't he?
Camuzzo.
It just looks like a clash of knees as well.
I've sent the physio on Newcastle. 0-0 here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Play was allowed to continue because they're in a decent position in the penalty area. Almiron still receiving treatment. Sitting down. Doesn't look like an issue with his knee. A couple of youngsters who are on the bench have gone out to warm up. Jay Turner Cook and Ben Parkinson, both of whom have figured in this pre-season so far. So Almiron is helped to his feet. Bit of a limp, but hopefully able to carry on. And having put the ball out, Fiorentina receive it from Newcastle from the throw. And we are playing again. Almiron is back on and breaks into a jog. He's going to have to get back as Fiorentina attack down the left and stick a ball in towards Arthur Cabral. And he got up. An uncontested header over the top.
Yeah, probably should have done better. Should have hit the target. Cutting in from that left side, ball whipped in. He's just got a header, Botman. Just a flicked header. Flies well over the top.
Dubravka with a short goal kick. Botman to the left on the 6-yard box. Murphy to the right. It's gone to Murphy, and then further out to Trippier, inside to Tonali. It's come back to Murphy from Almiron, and Lewis Miley tried to whip one round the corner to the right wing, but out of play for a Fiorentina throw. In the 19th minute on BBC Radio Newcastle. Back into the centre circle to the huge 6'5" Nikola Milenkovic at centre back. Newcastle stop a break down this near right side, and on halfway, throw taken by Dodo. Milenkovic inside his own penalty area, plays it to the feet of the goalkeeper. Cherifellini, who came through the Fiorentina Youth Academy system, passes it out to the left side. He then gets it back. Ooh. Dodo on his chest, took it well, lifted it over the head of Anderson, then inside to Melo, and Cabral on the stretch. Thought he'd hurt himself.
It's a big boy, isn't he, the centre forward, Cabral? Well, it looks like he's carrying a little bit of...
The other two Brazilians, Dodo and Melo, are tiny, and then he's built like a boxer. Arthur Cabral. Botman on his chest at the edge of the area. Alex Murphy takes a touch. Trippier inside to Tonali. There's 4 purple shirts around him. They go back to Murphy. Turns away from Josip Bracalo. Fiorentina left winger. Ball's gone out, and it's a throw for the Italians again. Inside to Arthur Melo, then headed on by Gonzalez, edge of the penalty area. Bonaventura back to Dodo. Newcastle push up. Lewis Miley pressing. It's played forwards to Gonzalez. Tonali was watching him, and then Gordon got in round the other side and pinched the ball back. Isak to Trippier, looking to release Almiron. Furthest player forwards, 20 yards out. On the right wing, into Isak. Helps it inside, but it's cut out by Fiorentina midfielder Alfred Duncan. And back they go to the goalkeeper, 0-0. Dodo looked like he was losing the battle with Anthony Gordon, but there was a foul there on the corner of the penalty area. Fiorentina free kick.
Yeah, just a little bit too enthusiastic, Gordon.
Almost midway through the first half on BBC Radio Newcastle. What have you made of it, Ando?
It's been decent. Both sides comfortable in possession of the ball. You would say Fiorentina probably had the best chance. Gonzalez really should have scored.
Elliot Anderson's found space in the centre circle and helped it on first time to Trippier. It comes for Almiron, back into Newcastle's half to Anderson, who's drifted out to the right. Miley playing it to Botman, and then Target back to Dubravka. Looks like I thought they'd switched it there with the position of all 3 midfielders. Tonali still in the middle. Here he is now. Pressure on him from behind, and Fiorentina win the ball at the edge of Newcastle's box. Now out to the left wing. Chance to deliver a cross. Claims for handball. Ignored by referee Michael Oliver, and then they clear it, Newcastle. But back out to that far left side. The Fiorentina throw. And they are shading it.
Yeah, it's not a great deal in it, is there?
Given away by Newcastle. Another Fiorentina cross into the penalty area. Gonzalez goes for a scissor kick after Cabral in the middle missed the header. Then they lose it. Fiorentina edge of the area because Anthony Gordon's won it back and played a great ball to release Almiron, who could take it all the way himself into the area. Almiron on his left, blocked by a recovering Camuzzo, and the defender got back and got in the way to deny Almiron the opportunity to make it 1-0, but Lewis Miley has regained possession for Newcastle in the final third. Tonali gives it back to the 17-year-old, who's on it again from Botman's pass, out to Anderson, wide to Target, on the outside, into Anderson, looking for Tonali, intercepted. Gonzalez for Fiorentina.
Oh, he's not getting that. The big boy, he's got a lot to carry.
Arthur Cabral.
Great ball as well, wasn't it?
He wasn't going to get there. No. Newcastle throw, left full-back position, 0-0. Good ball from Gordon to get Almiron away.
Yeah, cut inside. You could see exactly what was on his mind as soon as that ball's played through. Wants to cut inside on that left foot to get a shot away.
Newcastle
good block
with Alex Murphy on the ball. Back to the goalkeeper, who has one touch and then lifts it clear to Isak, taken down and inside. Lovely control then through the middle. Elliot Anderson could be away. Gordon free to the left. Anderson back through into the middle for Anthony Gordon, who hits the post.
What a chance.
It's come out to Almiron. Isak still in the penalty area. He's tackled but goes and recovers and keeps Newcastle on the attack. Tonali whips it into the 6-yard box where it's caught by Camuzzo, but the ball through for Anderson got him away, and he had support from Isak in the middle. He stepped over the pass, let it come for Gordon, took a touch and then smacked one off the post.
Yeah, he's unlucky, isn't he? He does everything right, gets it out of his feet nice and early, and he just whips it across the goalkeeper, smacks the post.
It remains goalless here on BBC Radio Newcastle. A reminder, they've got Dubravka in goal, Trippier, teenage defender Alex Murphy with Botman in the centre of defence, and Target at left back, Tonali in the middle with Lewis Miley and Anderson, Almiron on the right, Gordon on the left, Isak up top. And it's academy players on the bench, plus goalkeeper Mark Gillespie. Lewis Miley with possession, playing it to Target, still in their own half, Newcastle. Trippier to Murphy, Dubravka in the 6-yard box, along the penalty area on the floor to Target, then Gordon inside to Anderson. Lovely combination, a brilliant 1-2, and Gordon has got loads of room to drive into. Only Isak up there with him. He might go himself, Gordon.
Oh, great defending.
Nikola Milenkovic
just stood big, didn't he? Said to Gordon, go on, then you make a decision. He got caught in two minds. Big defender just stood there.
Got across and
did well. Good defending. Great play though. Great little 1-2, Anderson and Gordon.
Anderson's won it from Alfred Duncan as he brought it into midfield. 3 in the Newcastle attack, now 4 with Trippier. Anderson in the box with Almiron. Isak just outside the area. Finds the feet of Almiron. It's back to Lewis Miley. And rolled out to the left wing to Target. Inside to Lewis Miley. Anderson back to Miley. Murphy.
Looks so assured for a 17-year-old, doesn't he? So comfortable on the ball.
Misplaced return ball from Almiron towards Murphy. It's seen Fiorentina regain possession. Then Trippier intercepts. Went to give it to Almiron at the edge of the box, but that was cut out. And Bonaventura on the left wing, playing it back, and now into the box with the goalkeeper Cherufalini, intercepted by Target. Anderson carries it forwards, holds off Arthur Cabral, edge of the area with Gordon to Isak, bit of space, looking to get Gordon in again.
Tight, wasn't it?
Goal
Tight.
kick.
Yeah. Again, decent play.
'29th minute, and it's 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle as Fiorentina play it out from the back down this near side. Miley making the challenge, and out it goes for a throw. Arthur Cabral trying to get the better of Tonali, and Newcastle's Italian midfielder was being held. He's taking a quick free kick, and Anderson away from a couple into the box, beats the defender again, back onto his right on the left side, back to Gordon through the legs of one, and a challenge comes in from a second covering defender who scoops it out for a throw. Those two seem to like linking up and playing together, Anderson and Gordon, and along with Lewis Miley, they've been probably Newcastle's top players over the summer, and they've given us probably the best moments of this half so far.
Yeah, as I said about Miley, looks comfortable on the ball, looks assured.
Tonali to Almiron, who turns, tried to thread it through for Tonali's run at the edge of the area, but it's cut out. You were saying, Ander?
And you can see Anderson's playing with a boatload of confidence. The goals that he scored in pre-season, just believes in himself. Gordon's got a new lease of life, hasn't he? You know, went away with the under-21s, shone for them, and he's brought the form back here.
It's Fiorentina's turn to attack on the left wing. Into the final third they go. Newcastle, plenty of bodies back. Almiron is the only player that stayed up. There's another attempted scissor kick from Nicolas Gonzalez. The Argentinian
likes the spectacular, doesn't he?
Has gone for that twice. He made a clean connection with the ball there, but off target with the effort from the middle of Newcastle's box. And Dubravka on the floor, out to Tonali, back to Murphy, and Isak, deep position, facing his own goal, receives the ball, plays it to Trippier. Almiron comes short to get it. Isak on the wing, drags it back down the line, cut out by a purple shirt. Then inside to Bonaventura. Goes back to the left, and it's brought into the centre. Arthur Melo on it now, to his Brazilian compatriot Dodo. Arthur Melo again is the one they want to play through, and uses the architect for their attacking football. He's forced all the way back to halfway. Tonali sticking to the task of closing him down. And back into their own half. It's with Milenkovic. Gordon stopped him from going forwards. It's back to the goalkeeper. In the National League now, half-time at Gateshead in the other match we're covering today, and they still lead Boreham Wood by 2-0. We'll get another update on that from our non-league expert Paul Dixon, probably at half-time in this match at St James's Park. Well, that one kicked off at 3, and we started at 3:30 here at St James's. So if they get back out there and there are any more goals.
Not sure what's wrong with Gonzalez.
Before the second, before we get half-time here, we'll hear about them. Fiorentina had a player down, and now they don't have a player down.
Oh, he was rolling around and he was in agony. Now he's all right.
At half-time in the National League North, South Shields their first match at that level, 0-0 with Alfreton Town, and Blythe Spartans also in National League North action today against Gloucester City. That has also reached half-time, and Blythe are leading by 2-1. Newcastle looking for Isak, middle of the attacking half. Ball cut out, and it's with the Fiorentina defence, namely Milenkovic, to Arthur Melo, and back again, right of centre, back to the goalkeeper. They don't rush it, do they? No. It's a pre-season friendly, but the habits that we're seeing in terms of the Fiorentina style of play.
Yeah, it's slow,
patience.
isn't it? Yeah.
Now they see their moment and try to go long for Nicolas Gonzalez. Couldn't bring it down, and target cleared only as far as Alfred Duncan, who's thinking about the shot, then takes the shot. Botman with a block at the edge of the area, and Newcastle clear the immediate danger. It's in midfield. Still 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Nicolas Gonzalez is signalling that he's still struggling with that knock that he suffered a few minutes ago. They were about to put the ball out of play, but we continue. Arthur Melo dictating the Fiorentina play. His manager Vincenzo Italiano in green and purple training wear is pointing instructions from the side of the pitch. Arthur Melo on the ball again, away from Isak, up to halfway. Gets it once more, lifts it up towards Newcastle. Sven Botman, who heads clear. They were looking for midfielder Alfred Duncan, who'd made a forward run, but it was too close to Botman. Free kick for Newcastle for a trip in midfield. Tonali back to Botman, edge of the area. Miley to the feet of Target. Botman to Almiron, tried to flick it, it's been cut out. And here's Bonaventura, 15 caps for Italy. Former AC Milan player. Chip down the line and then given back to the captain Biraghi. Trying to get forwards. Cleared by Newcastle. Back with Fiorentina. Duncan inside to Arthur Melo. Middle third of the pitch. Bonaventura to Melo, who turns one way then the other and back again. Biraghi on the white of the touchline, passes the ball back inside. Not seeing much of the ball, Newcastle. Fiorentina are keeping it and happy to do so. And they've got it on the left wing and play it back into central midfield. Botman breaks from the midfield pack to close down Melo, and it's pass to halfway to Milenkovic. Isak lurking, Gordon closing down as well, and then they give it back to the goalkeeper. Comes to the edge of the area, plays it to Arthur Melo. Lewis Miley getting close. Target then trying to pinch it from Dodo, but back it goes again to the goalkeeper. Lifted forwards, Arthur Cabral heading on. Nicolas Gonzalez plays it against Elliot Anderson, but it comes for another Fiorentina player in purple. And they still have the ball, carrying it into Newcastle's half. Dodo available in the final third on the right wing. Inside to Nikola Milenkovic, the big defender. Arthur Melo, the little midfielder, back to halfway, 0-0. Newcastle have hit the post through Anthony Gordon. A couple of other chances. Botman then gets his left boot to the ball, lifts it up and out of play. So all Fiorentina in terms of the control
possession,
of the ball.
yeah, they've had plenty of the ball, but they haven't really threatened with it.
Dodo's overrun it and presented it to Botman, who gives it to Isak. Now he's going to run at the Fiorentina defence. Edge of the area, onto Almiron. Miguel Almiron with a well-taken goal. Left-footed, left side of the penalty area. Newcastle won it and broke through Isak, who could have taken it on himself, but Almiron made the run in from the right-hand side. Took the ball under control from Isak's pass and buried the finish at the Leazes end to make it Newcastle United 1, Fiorentina 0 in the 39th minute.
Great little ball. I mean, they broke. Fullback loses in the midfield, who's looking for a free kick. Never a free kick, not in a million years. All of a sudden broke onto them, and for all the possession that Fiorentina had up to that point, just nice and direct. Great little run, great finish as well.
Almiron with a third goal of pre-season after a tidy finish in the win at Rangers last month, and then he scored Newcastle's equaliser in the draw with Chelsea in the United States, back at his former club, Atlanta United. And there with another goal, finishing beyond Michele Cerefolini, and 1-0 up, and having hit the post, they've now hit the net, Newcastle. And they've got the ball, with Trippier playing it back to Dubravka at the edge of the penalty area. Botman to target, Gordon. He's on this near left side in his own half, and he's overrun it. Fiorentina have possession again. Bonaventura could hit it, doesn't. Duncan goes for goal. They had Biraghi making a run, just begging to be rolled in to the left.
Should have rolled him in.
Went for glory.
Yeah. And it wasn't sweet, was it?
Sandro Tonali picks it up, and then on the turn plays it forwards to Almiron, up to Isak. Some of the play as they've moved, transitional play from midfield into forward areas, usually on the break, has been very easy on the eye from Newcastle. It's been nice. Lewis Miley's won the ball back in central midfield. Trippier with a ball angled into the centre to Anderson, who's looked for Almiron. Difficult one for Almiron to control. Anderson's ball went up, didn't really have a lot of direction on it, and Fiorentina have won it back. Anthony Gordon gets applauded by Eddie Howe for a recovery challenge on Duncan, and throw in for the visitors. 4 minutes to go until half time. Newcastle, as it stands, will be top of the table in the Salah Cup, winning, and with the extra point for the goal that they get. 1-1 earlier between Nice and Villarreal. Headed on towards Arthur Cabral. It's got away from target and Botman, and this is Bonaventura looking for Cabral in the middle. Newcastle with a block, and then following up, Nicolas Gonzalez, right-footed shot into the ground, but straight towards Martin Dubravka.
Big chance, just hit it into the ground, wouldn't he? No real power in the shot, comfortable.
Dubravka had plenty behind it. Gonzalez didn't. It's a long ball into the Fiorentina half. Anderson was chasing. And defender Camuzzo back to the goalkeeper. 1-0 Newcastle. Almiron with the goal. Dodo drops his shoulder, tries to get away from Gordon, who made the challenge. Ball ran loose, and free kick is Michael Oliver's decision. Now, we've talked quite a bit in the build-up, John Anderson, and throughout the game about Lewis Miley. The other teenager they have out there, Newcastle, is Alex Murphy, playing as the right-sided centre-half. How do you think he's done?
Yeah, he's done all right. Just the opening couple of minutes when Cabral rolled him, showed a little bit of his inexperience, just got a little bit too tight. But again, he looks assured on the ball, looks comfortable on the ball. He's done all right.
Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. 1-0 up on Fiorentina, who are in the final third on the attack, but Newcastle get bodies back. Everyone bar Isak, who's standing in the centre circle behind the ball. Almiron closing down at the moment, and then it's played over to that far side, where miscontrol from Cristiano Biraghi leads to the ball going out of play. This is Almiron, and a foul on Anderson by Duncan on the right in the middle part of the pitch. Botman to Target. They've come over to this near left side, Newcastle. And Target has to go back to Botman, couldn't find a route forwards. In the D, Sven Botman playing it short to Alex Murphy, who's going to carry it now, and brought it out confidently from the back. Played a good ball to Sandro Tonali, forwards to Gordon. Newcastle finishing the half on the attack. Gordon with space to hit into the area. Gordon, good save from the keeper, and they let it run behind for a corner. They backed off, and then the space was there for Gordon, who exploited it and got through into the 6-yard box, but a right-footed effort stopped by Cherafalini. They've taken a short corner, Newcastle, and gone back to Botman, 30 yards from goal. Miley still on this near side. Target miscontrolled, and Fiorentina on the counter-attack. Bonaventura playing it over to the left, and now it comes to Arthur Cabral, who had a touch.
Doesn't finish either, does he?
And then had a go, but over the top, and Michael Oliver blows for half-time. Fiorentina could have levelled it just before the whistle from the quick break after the Newcastle move from the corner broke down, but Arthur Cabral, right side of the box, not the best effort. Knows he probably should have done better, or at least drawn Dubravka into a save. But 1-0 at the break through Miguel Almiron's goal. What's your verdict, John Anderson?
Yeah, it's been decent. I mean, Fiorentina technically very good, keep the ball, haven't really caused too much threats though. Cabral's right at the death, really should be hitting the target. Centre forward, clean through on goal, lashes it straight over the bar. Gonzalez had the other big chance when he's clean through, and he puts it over the top when he should have scored. At the other end, we've hit the post through Gordon. Goal's a real good goal. Broke yet again. It was that transitional play, wasn't it? Gets through to Isak. It's a super little ball, great little ball. Almiron first touch, and he just straight past the goalkeeper. But it's been a good game. You know, we spoke about Anderson, who's, you can see his confidence is sky high with the goals that he's got. Miley looks really assured. You know, looks comfortable. Wants the ball all the time, uses it well. Murphy at the back, just right at the dead day. Great little break into midfield. Played a great little ball when Gordon's got through and the keeper's made a smart save. So, yeah, a lot of positives in that first half. You know, Tonali's been a little bit on the quiet side, but uses it well enough. Gordon's been busy, but it's the young boys who've caught the eye, to be sure.
Second half coming up live from St James's Park here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Their first match in the Seller Cup, and at half-time Newcastle United lead Fiorentina by a 1-0.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Dodo's overrun it and presented it to Botman, who gives it to Isak. Now he's going to run at the Fiorentina defence. Edge of the area, onto Almiron. Miguel Almiron with a well-taken goal. Left-footed, left side of the penalty area. Newcastle won it and broke through Isak, who could have taken it on himself, but Almiron made the run in from the right-hand side. Took the ball under control from Isak's pass and buried the finish at the Leazer's end to make it Newcastle United 1, Fiorentina 0 in the 39th minute.
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So 1-0 after 45 minutes of this pre-season friendly. The two sets of substitutes are on the pitch at the moment, along with some of the Newcastle United ground staff. We await the two teams that will play the second half. Not aware of any Newcastle changes, but we'll find out shortly. The Seller Cup concludes tomorrow with a game for Newcastle against Villarreal. That one slightly later kick-off time at 4. Fiorentina play Nice in the other match. So Nice from France are the odd one out as far as Newcastle are concerned. They are the team that they won't meet in this competition. But leading by that Miguel Almiron goal to nil after 45 minutes. John Anderson, Eddie Howe with a youthful bench is unlikely to probably make too many changes, or certainly make them early, you would think, unless there are injuries. So we would expect the 11 that started to get most of the match, wouldn't you? Because some of those young players will be part of the under-21 squad. Some may go out on loan, but not many of them on the bench, you would think, would be figuring too often at first team level, just because there are so many other options.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that bench and you wonder how many will actually be involved throughout the season in first team games. And there's not too many that jump out at you at all. I think he will probably leave it. It'll be the same starting 11 that comes out for the start of the second half. Probably leave it in 60 minutes and then start making the changes. We spoke beforehand about who comes into contention for Villa next week. I mean, Trippier, Botman and Almiron are probably assured. You would think Isak, if it was up to me, that front three that have started today would be the three that starts against Villa next weekend. And then you got the midfield dilemma. I mean, Anderson's been outstanding again today. Young Miley's looked really assured. Target's done okay at left back. He's got decisions to make. I mean, obviously Bruno and Joe Linton, you would imagine, will definitely be in the starting 11 against Villa. Sean Longstaff, you would imagine, will play tomorrow, which brings him back into contention for the Villa game, you would think. But I think he's got a big decision to make about Anderson. I think he's been excellent again today. The boy scored 4 goals in pre-season. He's been... Everything he's done today has been good. Miley looks really assured for a 17-year-old. Will he be brave enough to play both of them? That's the thing. We'll have to wait and see. But no changes to be made at half times. It's just waiting for Fiorentina to come back out for the start of the second half. But no changes. Young Murphy at the back's done okay. Just got rolled that first time, but looks really assured on the ball, looks comfortable on the ball, doesn't look harassed. All's good.
Fiorentina returning in dribs and drabs. When you're ready, lads, there's only 4 of them out there now, and there's no sense of urgency from them for this second half. They have made a change though. They've taken off the right back Dodo and replaced him with Michael Coyote, another full-back. I think he'll stay in that position, a straight swap. Right back for a right back. Newcastle, as Ando mentioned, unchanged for the second half. Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Murphy, Botman, Target, Tonali, Miley, Anderson, Almiron the goal scorer, Gordon and Isak is the 11, and Fiorentina, Cherifalini in goal, Coyote, Milenkovic, Komutso and Biragi at the back. In midfield, Arthur Melo, Bonaventura and Duncan, with Gonzalez, who had a couple of good chances in the first half. Brecalo on the other side, a bit quieter, the Croatian, and through the middle, Arthur Cabral, who had an opportunity with a header and then a big chance just before the half-time whistle to make it 1-1, but put it over the top. Second half has started here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and Newcastle in black and white stripes playing the purple shirted Fiorentina are kicking towards the Gallagher end in the second 45, so that's left to right from our commentary position down the hill, and also looking out towards the Gallagher end, or the Gallagher East Stand corner. We can see the rail seating that has been installed at St James's Park over the summer to allow for safe standing, and it's in that section, the corner area of the East Stand towards the Gallagher, up to the top of the stand and a little bit lower down in the corner. And a lot of supporters making use of it because they're on their feet. That's something that is now allowed at the top level in English football. Newcastle have the ball. It's Elliot Anderson on the left, skips inside. Oh, it's a really good run. It's gone back on the outside. It took 3 of them in the end to stop him. Tonali closing down. So, Gordon, Alfred Duncan rather, the player who was on the ball. I was going to say about Tonali that you can see that in addition to the quality on the ball, he's a worker as well, isn't he? And that's what Eddie Howe likes.
Yeah, he likes people who get close and run and full of energy, and he is that.
Physical output from Tonali. A big attraction as far as Newcastle were concerned when they looked to make him their player earlier in the summer, as they did for 52 million from AC Milan. Gordon and Isak closing down. There's not a lot of pace to the game at the moment. The first match today was, as you've already remarked, Ando, played at a very slow tempo.
Oh, the first game was
yeah.
Well, it wasn't anything really.
It was gentle.
Yeah.
This is Anderson looking to inject a bit of speed into Newcastle's play. Isak, good ball, shifting it to the right. Almiron onto Trippier, the cutback blocked. Another cross caught by the goalkeeper.
Poor.
By the near post.
Yeah, the first ball was poor, and then the second one he just dinks it straight into the keeper's hands. But a good break again.
Fellini drops it at the feet. And Camuzzo played forwards. Trippier's got it back for Newcastle. And then Fiorentina regained possession and played into the centre to Giacomo Bonaventura. And this is a good run here. Over to the far side from Josip Bracalo. And then
great ball.
The substitute with the delivery, Michael Coyote, dangerous cross, just dropped it in towards the back post, but Kieran Trippier on hand to chest it back to Martin Dubravka.
Yeah, nobody in there though. Not a purple shirt in there. Great little ball played in.
Newcastle lead 1-0. BBC Radio Newcastle. Almiron to Tonali to work to keep possession of the ball. He's done so, finding Trippier, and then Almiron floats it over to target. Closer to halfway than the box. Goes for a ball down the line towards Gordon, cut out by Coyote. Newcastle have it in the middle through Anderson, and then Trippier switches it over to the far side looking for Gordon. Headed away, Arthur Melo, and plays it back to his defenders, and Fiorentina get in a bit of a mess, and Newcastle are on the ball once more. Target into the centre to Tonali, back to 19-year-old Alex Murphy. Trippier. Almiron on the right wing, middle of the Fiorentina half, gives it straight to Bonaventura. Then Almiron wins it back, pinches the ball back off Bonaventura, who could only foul him as he was getting away and approaching the penalty area. Atoned for his error in the misplaced pass, Almiron, by winning it back.
Wanted an eternity, didn't he, Bonaventura? Just wanted to do it all in his own time, and he had his pocket pinched, forced to give the free kick away.
And he was just getting into the position Almiron where he was setting himself for the shot when the challenge was made and the foul was committed. And in the 51st minute, with a 1-0 lead, Newcastle have a free kick, which is about 10 yards outside the penalty area, and It is to the right of centre. Target, Tonali and Trippier. 3 T's are all
Tonali fancies it, doesn't he?
around the ball. Sandro Tonali stepped back with purpose, comes forwards to the ball and goes for the far corner with a low free kick that just bent away from goal.
Yeah, it was always moving away from goal. He's just whipped across it. Goalkeeper was getting across there. I think he had it covered, the goalkeeper. It goes wrong side of the post.
Played inside by Brecalo for Fiorentina, straight to Newcastle. Miley and now Tonali, and then Miley again on the right in midfield. Back to Murphy. A couple of yards in front of halfway. Botman near the centre spot. Plays it forwards to the feet of Anderson, and he feeds Gordon out wide. Tries to cut in off the left wing. Plays it back to Target instead, and then a forward ball for Gordon to chase, but it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Unlucky. Idea was right again.
I take through the Newcastle bench. It is a set of substitutes comprising academy players plus goalkeeper Mark Gillespie, and then the others: Jude Smith, another goalkeeper from the under-21s, Lucas De Ball, Nathan Carlyle and Remy Savage. He's had a couple of outings in pre-season. As Almiron wins the ball back in midfield, Tonali looks for Isak, but it's cut out. Jamie Miley, older brother of Lewis, who's out there now. Amadou Diallo, Jay Turner-Cook, Jordan Hackett, Michael Ndaiwani, James Huntley, Ben Parkinson and Charlie MacArthur. And to reiterate a point we made earlier, but something we'll discuss with Eddie Howe after the match, an interview you can find on Twitter at BBC Newcastle a bit later. Those big players who are not injured, who aren't playing today, would presumably start tomorrow against Villarreal. The squad being split over the 2 days. Fiorentina free kick in their half. Back to the goalkeeper, Arthur Melo, with Lewis Miley on his shoulder. Almiron charges down a clearance and goes out for a throw in the left back position. Nice header inside by Bonaventura, and Josip Brecalo keeps Fiorentina on the attack. They move it back from right to left to Alfred Duncan, and Bonaventura taking on 2 in black and white, digs out across to the back post, but too high for the 2 colleagues in the middle, and it's floated away from goal and behind for a goal kick. It was Josip Brecalo again who started the move, who was closest to it, having risen to try and meet the header, but nothing happening. And then Kieran Trippier almost with an own goal. It's gone behind for a corner. Was trying to play a back pass to Dubravka, but overhit it, and Dubravka had moved across towards the near side, and the ball went to the other side of the net, but fortunately a couple of yards wide of the post.
Ooh, got away with it, didn't he? He got lucky.
Left-footed corner into the penalty box from the right. It's taken a touch, gone across the area, and then Alfred Duncan has
put it in Rose there.
Yeah, that almost reached the hospitality suites at the back of the Leazes end. Murphy to Dubravka. Newcastle have got play started again. Anderson with a header on from a long ball forwards. Gordon chasing the back pass to the goalkeeper from Coyote, who receives it again from Cerafellini as the Italian side keep possession. They finished 8th in Serie A last season, and they'll be in the Europa Conference League playoff round later this month, returning to Europe. They hope, if they successfully get through the playoff. Newcastle, no need for any of that. Straight into the Champions League group stage. Draw made on the final day of this month, 31st of August. Qualifiers are underway. Newcastle just have to wait. Unlike their 3 previous Champions League qualifications when they played in qualifiers before the main competition started. 1-0 up here against Fiorentina, who send a cross in from the right, away by Newcastle, then back into the box, and it's a corner on the near left-hand side at the Leazer's end. We've played 57 minutes. Into the box, all the way over to the far side, where Bonaventura picks it up on the wing. Then 2-on-2, Newcastle through Tonali, and Anderson come away with the ball. Isak looking to return it to Tonali. It's cut out, but then back to Isak, who went to go on one of those runs but carried the ball out of play.
Second half's been a little bit of a non-event, hasn't it? Hasn't really got going. Oh!
Now Almiron is in, one-on-one, saved by Cherifalini from the shot at the edge of the area. Almiron went with the inside of his left boot, and it gave the goalkeeper the chance to make the save, and Fiorentina keep it at 1-0. Just about. Ball floated over to this near side from Gonzalez, and it's come over to the far post from the cross from Biraghi. Coyote with a delivery, dangerous ball in. Newcastle haven't cleared it. Duncan back to Arthur Melo, edge of the D. Coyote, the fullback, getting a return ball from Nicolas Gonzalez, and Fiorentina still in possession, but they've gone all the way back to the halfway line now, and in fact in their defensive third, Newcastle able to push up to halfway. Is Michele Cherifalini, the goalkeeper, with a big clearance. Botman backpedaling, watching it, and winning the header from Arthur Cabral. Tonali to Miley, can't keep hold of it. Now Bonaventura spins away from Anderson and Tonali on halfway, and Fiorentina playing with a bit more zest and a bit more life over the last few minutes, but Miguel Almiron given the opportunity to make it 2.
They're the ones when he's got too much time to think about it.
It's a case
should have scored, shouldn't he?
Pick your spot, isn't it? You can
and
choose
he
any
didn't.
finish you like.
He just hit it straight at the keeper. But they're the ones when he's got too much time to think about it that he struggles with. It's the instinctive ones where you don't have time to think about it, just do it. But on that occasion, too much time to think about it, and he's just hit it straight at the keeper.
Fiorentina back to the goalkeeper. Target gets a boot in, but he'd fouled Coyote before getting a touch on the ball. So free kick in the right back position. We've had 15 minutes in the second half. Almiron's goal towards the end of the first separates the sides. We are also covering Gateshead in the National League, the opening day of their season against Boreham Wood. Gateshead 2-1 up, Boreham Wood down to 10 men. So Mike Williamson's team have only around 5 minutes, because the match kicked off at 3, to see out and start the season with a victory, with a bit more non-league football later. on BBC Radio Newcastle after this friendly has finished. Here's Biragi with a sweeping cross into the middle of the penalty area. Now another ball's going to come in from the right. It's a header clear by Matt Targett for Newcastle, and Anderson rises to head it forwards in midfield, but Fiorentina have possession again. Bonaventura to Duncan. And Cristiano Biragi, the captain. Been further up the pitch. Biragi from left back in the second half, much more so than in the first. Didn't really join in Fiorentina's attacking play. They've got the ball just to the right of the centre circle, and now back into their half of the pitch. Petro Camuzzi, left-sided centre half, forwards into midfield, and then 35-yard pass back to the goalkeeper. Trippier wins the header, then brings the ball down. Almiron down the line. Isak available inside on the half turn, gets it. Good feet by Isak, but tried to maybe do one trick too many.
Oh, well played.
Fiorentina play it forwards. Bonaventura barged to the floor by Trippier.
You think that'd be a yellow card in the Premier League game?
Definitely. Michael Oliver gives the free kick, nothing else. It had to be done to stop the attack. The Fiorentina staff are shouting instructions at their goalkeeper. Ball is in the other half, Newcastle's half, and on the left wing from the free kick. Biragi down the line. Oh, they looked for him again, but he'd moved inside, and the pass has come straight to Almiron, who clips it away towards Trippier. Can't keep it in, though, from Almiron's ball that was over-clubbed, I would say. Almiron and Trippier tap hands as they get back into position. Tonali with a challenge on Duncan from behind. And the whistle's gone. Eddie Howe, hands in pockets, now folds his arms. Not looking yet to make any changes, but not quite midway through the second half. Still 1-0 to Newcastle. Almiron's goal. Could have had a second though. And in the first half at 0-0, Anthony Gordon hit the post with a right-footed shot from inside the area. Moving it around well, Fiorentina, from the back into midfield, now over the top, and Artur Cabral chases, but Botman had a head start. Back to Dubravka. Trippier tackled by Josip Bricalo, and it's a Newcastle throw near to the corner flag. Still haven't taken it. I'm told to do so now by Michael Oliver, and they've got another throw, same spot. It's in the middle of Newcastle's half. Isak went to pick up the ball, was beaten to it. And Fiorentina have possession once again. And we've got a couple more friendlies before we start the Serie A season in a fortnight against Genoa. And they've also split their squad up like Newcastle have for the 2 matches in 2 days here, so a few of their bigger names on the bench.
Keeper
Dubravka comes and claims a cross, from the left side, from a deep position, and throws it out to try to start a Newcastle attack down the left. Gordon inside to Miley. Tonali, who's played in the middle of the three, hasn't he, Ando, in midfield?
Yeah, he's been on the periphery of everything, hasn't he? You know, it's
Trippier, that's nice play, and a good ball up to Gordon. And Tonali, he's switched it. Fantastic pass to find Anderson in the box on the left side. Tried to beat the defender who made the challenge. Gonzalez, the forward, actually back doing his work for the team, and it's a Newcastle corner, but a great switch from Tonali there.
Yeah, I mean, I just said he's been on the periphery of it. You want to see him do more of that. It's a great little ball from right to left. First time ball.
Alex Murphy makes his way into the box. Tonali and Trippier have stayed back, and it's Anderson's corner.
It's another corner.
Sent it in, fizzed it in towards the near post. We'll try again from the left side, the Gallagher end. 1-0 up. Plays it back to Gordon, then Anderson has it again, still on that left wing. Newcastle combines with Gordon once more, shoulder barges the defender to the floor. Anderson then sends in a low cross that Arthur Cabral pushes away. Tonali, Trippier available in front of halfway, that's where it goes. Then back to the left of the centre circle to Tonali. Miley receives it, short ball to Botman. Then Almiron on the right wing into Miley. Back to Almiron, who comes in off the touchline. Tonali to Murphy. It's Murphy on the left. Play it forwards, and then it goes back towards Tonali, but it's intercepted by Arthur Cabral. Josip Bracalo. Stopped by Trippier, who has gone down on his knees. Might have been winded there, Trippier. Physio Sean Beecher's gone running along the touchline to see how he is. It was an accidental collision. It's 1-0 to Newcastle on BBC Radio Newcastle, and it's now 2-2 Gateshead against 10-man Boreham Wood, an equaliser in the 94th minute in the National League. Long ball forwards from Fiorentina, from the goalkeeper. Alex Murphy thought he might have been fouled, nothing given, and he picks himself up, comes away with the ball in a challenge, but it's overrun in midfield. And Newcastle once again with everybody bar Isak behind the ball. Mello twisting and turning. Playing it to the left, then it comes forwards from Camuzzo, but Newcastle win it back. Trippier now to Murphy, edge of the penalty areas. Over it goes to Botman. Miley back to Botman, then gives him an angle on the left corner of the box, gets it back again. Target forwards onto Gordon to Almiron. Isak's pulled away left side. Almiron plays the ball into space for Isak to run onto. It's a promising attack. Isak beats one, then another into the area. Still Isak. It's like a run at Everton going along the goal line. He couldn't pick anybody out in the middle. And Fiorentina have a chance to bring it clear. Adjudged to a fouled Arthur Cabral, and now two more changes from the away side. Coming off Nicolas Gonzalez to be replaced by Christian Kouame. And also coming on is the Moroccan international midfielder Abdelhamid Sabiri.
And number 11,
Josip Carlo is replaced by Sabiri.
Number 21, Christian Kwame.
Had a fairly unremarkable spell, Abdelhamid Sabiri, with Huddersfield in the Premier League in their 2 seasons. Only played a handful of times for them. He's on the left side, and Kwame has gone over to the right. 72 minutes. On BBC Radio Newcastle. Matt Target. Gordon on the left, middle of the attacking half of the pitch, comes in, ball on his right foot, laid off to Tonali, then to Miley. He's got 2 on him, back to Tonali, lifted over at the head of Sabiri to Trippier. Plays it 5 yards, infield to Almiron, back to Murphy, having a look after carrying the ball forwards, but then had to go back to Tonali, out to Trippier, now on to Miley, and Almiron wide, back through for Miley, trying to make the run and get around Duncan. It's a good battle. Fans want to foul on the edge of the area, nothing given. Newcastle still have it and play on. Almiron to Trippier, and down the line to the Paraguayan again. Miley then through the legs of Duncan, but flag went up from the assistant, and it's brought back for a free kick. Well, some seem to stop. Miley carried on after the assistant, Scott Ledger, started waving his flag. Newcastle have a free kick on the right, and they've taken it quickly, but have to do it again, says Michael Oliver. It wasn't for anything involving
No, it was obstruction.
Miley.
It was obstruction on Almiron again. He went for the 1-2. He got blocked off again. Flag went up straight away. Referee waved play on. No advantage. He brought it back.
20 yards out on the right touchline. Trippier inside to Tonali. First time cross headed away at the edge of the penalty area. Target's going to go back to the keeper from inside the Fiorentina half. Almiron, the scorer of the only goal late in the first half. Dubravka looking long for Trippier. Good header inside. And then a ball back through for Trippier. Gordon wants it in the middle. Anthony Gordon!
He's got to score. He's got to score.
First time effort from Gordon, right footed, 6 yards out, clears the crossbar.
Oh, great ball. Great header originally. I mean, he's given inches away to Sabiri, who just didn't fancy it at all in the air. And he's whipped a great ball in. He's coming onto it, Gordon, and he just whips it straight over the top of the crossbar.
Gordon has then won it back, got a throw on the far side, 25 yards out. Anderson dispossessed. I didn't realise that Kwame was on his shoulder. Back to the goalkeeper, not the best clearance from Fiorentina, and struggling to get out of their defensive third. Now a big long ball forwards. Murphy across in front of Arthur Cabral and puts it out into touch on the far side.
Second half's been flat, hasn't it? Not a great deal's happened.
Gateshead have drawn 2-2 with Boreham Wood in the National League. In the division below, Blythe Spartans have won against Gloucester City by 4-2 at Croft Park, and South Shields in National League North have won 3-1 against Alfreton Town. More detail on today's non-league football coming up before 6 on BBC Radio Newcastle. 15 minutes to go in the Cellar Cup.
Oh,
Here at St James's. Gordon making a challenge but unable to find Anderson, who's then won it back and ridden a couple of tackles that have come in on him. About 30 yards from the Fiorentina goal. Did so well under pressure there, Elliot Anderson. They're on the right side now, this near side as we look. Miley to Almiron, back to Trippier, and down the line to Miley and out to Almiron, and then Tonali takes it into the corner and tried to win a throw, but his attempt to play it off a Fiorentina defender didn't quite work, and the visitors get it clear. And Botman back to Dubravka. Target then inside to Botman. Nice ball, gets a return pass, crosses halfway. Looking for a second, Newcastle. Tonali in the middle of the Fiorentina half. Miley to Trippier. Anderson in the D, back to goal. Tonali's hit one. It's travelling, it was low, but it looked like it was moving and swerving. Blocked before it could reach goal. Botman on to Gordon. The return pass is not where he wanted it. Newcastle have got to defend now. Sabiri inside to Bonaventura. Kouame, Melo, and Duncan with a ball over to Biragi on the left wing. It's pushed up high, the fullback, as is the other fullback on the far side, Coyote. It's come back to the near side to Biragi. Low ball into the penalty area. Alex Murphy, good block, as Abdelhamid Sabiri tried to give him the slip. Trippier's clearance is cut out by Biragi, and Fiorentina, 25 yards from goal, have the ball now right of centre. Arthur Melo getting it back from Giacomo Bonaventura. Bonaventura's got it again.
ooh.
And got that all wrong. The pass. It's a Newcastle throw. Going to be another Fiorentina change in a moment. Here it comes. Arthur Melo, Brazilian international, who didn't get a chance in the Premier League really with Liverpool last season because of fitness issues. On loan from Juventus. Very good first half. He's coming off, and his replacement is Lorenzo Amatucci. And Newcastle are going to introduce one academy player for another, although Lewis Miley is now a senior player, a first team player. A 17-year-old is taken off by Eddie Howe, who high-fives him, as does Jason Tindall, and his replacement is the 18-year-old forward Ben Parkinson.
Yeah, he's done well again, hasn't he, Miley? Not as influential in the second half, because the second half's been bitty.
Oh, good skills, Elliot Anderson. Chopping one way, then the other.
He's been brilliant.
It's like the ball is stuck to his
he's been
boot,
brilliant.
isn't it? Wonderful close control. He's won a free kick just behind halfway. What the change means is that
Isak's gone out left.
Isak's gone to the left. They've gone to a 4-2-3-1 with Anderson and Tonali in the middle, Isak on the left, Gordon behind, Parkinson up front, as Isak with a brilliant run, skill and close control wins a corner on the left side.
Yeah, the boy Michael Coyote, who's come on at right back at half time, he has struggled. It's all happened a little bit too quick for him.
81 minutes on the clock. Newcastle lead 1-0. And Isak's positive play has brought them this corner. Substitute Parkinson standing close to the goalkeeper. Defenders now in the way. So 2 outside the box for United. Trippier sends the ball in. Good header! Alexander Isak has doubled the lead from Trippier's right-footed in-swinging corner kick from the left. Met the ball with his head and guided it across goal and inside the right-hand post. And in the 82nd minute, Newcastle United 2, Fiorentina 0.
Well, it's all happened too easy, wasn't it? Fiorentina, not a Fiorentina player got off the ground. They all looked, and it's a simple header. It just flicks off him and flies into the bottom corner. All the Fiorentina players just stood and watched.
So 2-0 Isak, about 6 yards out when he headed the ball in, perhaps level with the left-hand post across goal and tucked it into the corner nicely. 2-0 and looking good for the Seller Cup. Newcastle, who lifted the Diriyah Cup in Saudi Arabia in December, might get themselves another trophy.
That get you into Europe?
They're already in Europe, they.
Yeah, but does it get you into Europe for next year?
I don't think it affects the coefficient with UEFA. Still a match to be played. Still 2 matches to go tomorrow at St James's Park. Fiorentina against Nice at 1, then Newcastle Villarreal at 4. Change for Fiorentina. Artur Cabral, their top scorer last season, with 17 goals in all competitions, has been taken off and he's been replaced by Nanitamo Ikone. They're looking to get a goal back here with Sabiri on the left edge of the area. Now a shot driven in. Powerful effort from another one of the substitutes, Amatucci. Stopped by a Newcastle player, getting the body in the way. Tonali then fouled at the edge of the penalty area as Fiorentina play on and strike the post with a shot after the whistle had gone. So Isak won the corner, having moved out to the left, and then scored the goal. His second of pre-season. He was also on target with a close range finish, a tap in really, against Aston Villa in a 3-3 draw in Philadelphia last month. Played the free kick short. Trippier on the right back position, boxed in really by 3 Fiorentina players. Then Gordon has had a nutmeg in the box. They press high there, the Italian side. Gordon with some good skill to help Newcastle find a bit of space. They've gone back to the goalkeeper, and Dubravka's ball has ended up playing the visitors back into it. They've got possession, but they've gone to halfway. Ben Parkinson closing down. He signed his first Newcastle professional deal earlier this summer. Parkinson, he was born in Durham and has been at the academy since the age of 7. He's closing down the keeper. Had a good chance to score in the draw with Chelsea in America. Late header just over the top. I think it was the Chelsea game, might have been the Brighton match. This is his 4th appearance for the senior team in the pre-season. Newcastle have made a tackle on the edge of their area. Anderson playing so well there with Trippier and Gordon. And Almiron wins a throw. Elliot Anderson probably be your pick for man of the match today, wouldn't he, John?
Yeah, he's been excellent. Yeah, he's been the best player on the pitch. Been brilliant. It's just oozing confidence at the moment.
Isak wanted to take on
See you later.
the defender, and does, and now slips it through for Parkinson, who's being tripped near to the left corner of the area, and a yellow card shown.
He's shown favouritism there, Michael Oliver.
Oh, right.
Didn't book Trippier for similar. See, that's favouritism.
It's a shame he can't referee Newcastle in competitive football. It was Nikola Milenkovic who was yellow carded. 3 minutes to go, 2-0 up. Almiron and Isak with the goals. There will be a couple of changes. Jay Turner-Cook and Michael Ndaiwani, a midfielder and a forward, are going to come on. Miguel Almiron is coming off. It's a standing ovation as always, Almiron, when being replaced. And Alexander Isak is the other player withdrawn, so the 2 goal scorers getting a breather in the 88th minute. Young striker Michael Ndaiwani, who was also used at Gateshead in the first pre-season game, comes on, and Jay Turner-Cook, who scored the winner in that match and played twice in America, is on too. But they have a free kick near to the left corner of the box, a couple of yards away from the area, and they're wanting Kieran Trippier to shoot. Matt Targett is next to the ball as well.
A couple of Newcastle substitutions coming off.
Targett lifts it in. It's behind players in black and white in the middle.
Number 52, Jay Turner-Cook.
Fiorentina clearance is collected by Sandro Tonali.
Michael Ndaiwani.
Lots of space for Tonali in his half of the pitch. Alex Murphy's back there. Trippier to Target. Got 90 seconds of the 90 minutes remaining. If you want to send us a message, BBC Radio Newcastle 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Just put the letters BBC at the start, or tweet at BBC Newcastle, and post-match reaction will be on Twitter and the BBC Radio Newcastle Facebook page. That's Anderson,
brilliant,
with a wonderful turn, flicking the ball through his legs and then moving into space through the centre of the pitch. He could go all the way himself. He instead plays in Turner-Cook on the right, could give it back to Anderson. It's Gordon in the penalty area, takes a touch and guides a shot just past the top left corner of the goal. But that was a really attractive move from Newcastle, all through the skill of Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, he's been top notch, hasn't he? As I say, he's been the best player on the pitch by a long way.
On this form and on this evidence, with full respect to the big players who are not involved today, and in fact not just this match but pre-season as a whole, because he was on it from match 1, it's very hard to see how Anderson doesn't start against Aston Villa next week.
Now there's a dilemma. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. If you're going on pre-season, you're going on form, and you're going on what players have done, he's nailed on. He's got to start. But who does he start in place of in that midfield? Big decision. Final whistle's gone, 2-0. Second half, non-event, but Anderson by a mile the best player in the pitch. Has been absolutely superb. Decent work out, not too many substitutions made, a couple made right at the death. We'll move on to tomorrow. A victory in their first match at the Cellar Cup, live here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and if they win against Villarreal tomorrow in a game that kicks off at 4, they will lift the trophy in the tournament that they are hosting. Eddie Howe goes onto the pitch to
shake hands with Fiorentina players and high five his own, and thank the officials as well. Almiron in the first half made it 1-0, having been slipped through by Isak on the Newcastle counter-attack after Anthony Gordon had hit the post. Almiron went through one-on-one and shot straight at the keeper in the second half. They had other chances, notably through Gordon after a brilliant move with so much good work from Trippier. He fired over from a ball in from the right, but Isak with a run down the left, winning a corner, getting his head onto the ball from Trippier's delivery, made it 2-0, and that gave Newcastle the victory. Just finally for the moment, John Anderson, talked about Anderson being very good, Lewis Miley impressive again, Alex Murphy put in a good showing at the back as well, and the fans got to see Sandro Tonali in a Newcastle shirt at home for the first time, so plenty of good things to reflect on overall.
Yeah, I think probably a highlight was the performance of the young boys. Lots been spoken of them from the games that they played in the States. First chance really to see them. I thought they all did well. Murphy looked comfortable at the back, looks assured on the ball, looks comfortable on the ball. Miley, first half I thought was very, very good. In the second half, as I say, a little bit of a non-event, didn't really get involved that much. Anderson we've already spoke about. Tonali was on the outskirts of it for most of it, played one delicious ball from this right side, from right to left. But good performances. We weren't really put under that much pressure defensively. They had a little bit of the ball, but never really looked to get in behind us, never asked too much of the back four. You would think it'd be a different test tomorrow, obviously a different team tomorrow, but you would think Villarreal are probably a shade above Fiorentina, to be fair.
Players are going around the pitch to thank the supporters for coming today. Quite a few fans have stayed to applaud those in black and white off the pitch. Big smile from Eddie Howe and from Jason Tyndall alongside him. Thanks for listening to us on BBC Radio Newcastle. Great to be back at St James's Park, and we'll be here throughout the season bringing you every match exclusively live once again. The number to get in touch if you've got a comment on the game, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with BBC, or you can text, put BBC at the start of a text message, and the short number for that is 81333. Goals from Almiron in the first half and Isak in the second mean that Newcastle United have beaten Fiorentina by 2-0.
Matthew Raisbeck, thank you very much indeed. Thank you to you, Ando, as well, but I'll thank you properly at the end of the next 5 minutes or so, because I'm going to keep you for a little bit longer. And funnily enough, what I'm going to do actually is expand on most of the points that Razor made, because he highlighted the people that I think it's most interesting to talk about. You've named Elliot Anderson as your man of the match by some distance, but let's delve into why. What made him stand out?
I just thought everything about him today, Colin, not just his ability on the ball and his quality on the ball, but his work right off it, his desire to get it back, his chase and his harrying. On the ball, he showed what a good player he is. Look, the fact that he scored 4 goals in this pre-season, you can see that the confidence is oozing from him, and rightly so. I think it'd be a huge ask of the manager not to play him next week. It's he's done everything that has been asked of him, and probably more in this pre-season, and it'd be a right kick in the belly for him, if he wasn't to play next week, because on the evidence of what we've seen, he's been the outstanding player all through pre-season for us, and he confirmed that yet again today.
And that will be, I suspect, the conversation on Total Sport through the week is if he does play, who doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll save that for later in the week, because from a start we'll see how a number of players, first team players, get on against Villarreal tomorrow. It was a strong lineup. It was established first team players with the exception of a couple. So Alex Murphy at the back, first of all. I mean, centre back, as you know, you've played alongside plenty of them. Centre back, there's no place to hide. How did he do?
Yeah, he did all right. He got done first couple of minutes. Cabral, the big centre forward, big lad, just rolled him. He got too tight to him, rolled him, and he got in. But apart from that, he was neat and tidy, looks comfortable on the ball, looks assured, looks full of confidence, did everything that was asked Anderson. The one thing I would say is they weren't asked too many questions defensively from Fiorentina. Even though Fiorentina had plenty of the ball, they played in front of us for the majority of the game. Never looked to get in behind us. Never really had to track runners. Never really put under too much pressure. But he looked calm and assured, and as I say, very comfortable on the ball when it was there to be brought forward. He got it, he brought it forward, and he used it well. So he did well.
And the other one who I know you've mentioned, but again, it was a sort of a match of two halves maybe for Lewis Miley in midfield.
Yeah. First half I thought he was excellent again, comfortable again, assured, used the ball very, very well. The amount of first time passes he plays for a young boy, 17 years of age, his awareness of people around him, sees the big picture, uses it well. Second half was a little bit of a non-event. It was like a pre-season game second half. There was no pace to it. There was no, but first half he was excellent. But as I say, Anderson was the pick of everybody on the pitch. He was head and shoulders above everybody else.
And one of those, when we talk about who Eddie Howe might leave out in the middle of midfield, Sandro Tonali will come into that conversation, mainly because he has only just arrived and he's only just adjusting. But I mean, how did he get on this afternoon? I know it's not a Premier League match.
I thought he was on the edge of it all the time. To be fair, he got it, he used it. He played one great ball in the second half from right to left to pick Gordon out. But you wanted to see him do more of that. He didn't play poorly. Don't get us wrong. He didn't. But you didn't sit here and go, whoa. He was brilliant.
And that will come in time.
Yeah. Look, when I seen him at Rangers, I thought he was excellent because he found space. He used the ball well. His awareness of people around him, seeing the big picture, seeing it all. But there was no real pace to that game, and this was a similar type of game today. But he didn't really stamp his authority on it, and you thought this was a game that was there, take control of this game, I'm going to run this game. And it was the he's not so little, it was the boy alongside him, the young boy Anderson, who ran the show, so but look at it, it's still early doors for Tonali. I think going to the States and playing against Villa, especially in that first half against Aston Villa, when our midfield got ran ragged a little bit, I think that was a little bit of a wake-up call for him, because the pace of the Premier League is so much quicker. We've seen Fiorentina today, and being in the Italian side, the way they play, it's all slow build up from the back, it's all possession based. There's not a great deal of pace to the way that they play the game, and the Premier League is totally different to that.
Well, it's funny, but my next question was going to be whether Fiorentina and the way they played today was in any way a comparison to any Premier League team or any Premier League match that Newcastle might play this season. Seemingly the answer is no.
No, I don't think so, because they play too slow. It's all possession based football. It's all about keeping the ball. They don't get runners from midfield beyond your back four. They don't look to get people in behind. They play in front of you all the time and try and play their way through. Now, game in the Premier League is a little bit different, because you get players breaking from midfield. You get players looking to get in behind your back four and get into holes. Fiorentina didn't do any of that at all today.
And the last thing I wanted to ask you is about just kind of the whole setup of this tournament, because these are Newcastle's last two pre-season friendlies. They're playing against Villarreal tomorrow. Obviously, a lot of first-team players missing from today who will play tomorrow. But do you agree with this kind of setup of playing two friendlies, two different teams the week before? Would you rather have seen Newcastle play their strongest starting 11, or at least a combined, a proper representation of what might be a Premier League starting 11, when it is only 7 days before the first league game?
Well, we've done it for a few years, to be fair. We've played against European opposition. It makes everybody. The one thing you would say, Colin, is this format, the teams that Eddie Howe picks, you're sat here scratching your head thinking, whoa, who's going to play against Villa? If it was just a one-off, and you go, well, there's probably 9 of them that's going to start against Villa. The way it is with these 2 games over the 2 days, you're looking at it and going, oh, I mean, I mentioned it beforehand that Trippier, Botman, Almiron, Isak maybe would all start, but now on the evidence of what you've seen, you've got to say that Anderson comes into that category as well. You know, he would start. Tonali, I would put a question mark about whether he starts against Villa or not, but you know, we'll have to wait and see how tomorrow goes, because there's a lot of big players to come back in tomorrow. You know, Dan Burn players. Will Cher be fit to play? Will Longstaff come back in and play? You know, will Wilson play up top? Harvey Barnes comes into the equation as well, you know, so a lot of good players still there that will play tomorrow, will figure tomorrow, so it's an interesting one. I mentioned this on Total Sport a few times. I'm really looking forward to see what the starting 11 will be against Aston Villa, but I would be bitterly disappointed, and really disappointed, if Anderson's name isn't on the team sheet a week today.
There's a throwback, an Anderson on a Newcastle United team sheet for the first game of the season. John, thank you very much as always.
Cheers, Colin.
And we'll be back on Total Sport on Monday. You will be able to find the post-match interviews from today that Matty Raisbeck has gone off to do just now with Eddie Howe and whoever else you can grab hold of. You'll be able to find them on BBC Radio Newcastle's social media channels. The Twitter page in particular is obviously the first place to go. You'll also hear bits and pieces of them on Total Sport on Monday night and through the week from 6 o'clock every night. But we are going to round up all the other scores from today next.